Namaste students. In the last video, you have understood about the meaning, definition and introduction part of retailing. So in the present video, we are going to learn about the nature and characteristics of the retailer. So what is the nature and characteristics? So we must know about the retailing, and it is again most important point which we have to know. So we come across with varieties of retailers. For example, you might have visited malls, you might have visited all-in-one shop, you might have visited big bazaar, you might have visited food bazaar, or you might have visited the regular market, or you might have seen a retailer, one who sells the goods to ultimate consumers, that is in your neighborhood, or the people who come across on the streets selling goods to the ultimate consumers. So we might have seen many. So now, on what basis we divide them? See, there are a lot of sellers who sells the goods to ultimate consumers, correct? But how we bifurcate them? So, answer for this question is very simple. We divide the retailers into two categories. So that is organized retailers, and another one is unorganized retailers. So now you have to understand who is an organized retailer and who is an unorganized retailer. See, I always come up with the points, key points answer, so which make you to remember the answer very easily rather than writing pages together. So now, to understand who is going to be an organized retailer, so just you have to remember 2 points. That is, number one, he must be a licensed retailer. He must possess license to do trading activity. So when he gets a license, that is, he come under the organized retailer. And point number 2, you must remember, so he must be registered for sales tax and income tax, etc. So he must be liable to pay taxes. It might be on sales, so we can say GST. So he must pay the GST. So that is what I have highlighted in that point. So which you can read that registered for sales tax and income tax clearly. So these 2 points, if you remember, those are called as organized retailers. That is, he must be a licensed retailer and he must be registered for sales tax or income tax. So now, overall comes under that category. Examples, I wanted to give examples. That is, number 1, supermarkets, corporate backed hypermarkets, and a retail chain, privately owned large retail business are also included in retailing. So we can include all of these people because they are all possess license, they have taken license, and number 2, they are all registered for sales tax or income tax. I hope you are very clear. So now, by any chance, if you get an option to give an answer for overall organized retailers, it is very simple to answer. So answer is very simple, that is, they must have license for doing retail business, and point number 2, they must be registered for sales tax, income tax, etc. So overall comes under, again I am repeating, that is supermarket, hypermarket, corporate vendors, so any business organizations. So next, coming to the point, that is unorganized retailers. So we can say these are from ages back we have put in a practice, in selling the goods and services directly to the consumers. So that is, again to remember, point number 1, if organized or licensed, then unorganized or unlicensed, they never take a license, they simply start doing business. They are unlicensed sellers. So we call them as unorganized retailers. So if organized retailers are registered for sales tax and income tax, then obviously unorganized, they are unregistered for the income tax and sales tax. They are not at all registered for any tax system. So these 2 points are very, very important here. So now the examples for this, the local corner shops. So the shops which you find in the corner of your street. So one who don't take license, simply they will run. So then we can say that, which is a pan vendor, one who sells pan, bida and all. So you can take an example of a BD seller, one who sells the BD in the street. Or you can take an example of payment vendors or street vendors. So, or the street vendors who sits near the bus station, railway station and sells the goods. So they are all example of unorganized retailers. So dear students and dear friends, it is very simple to remember that organized retailers and unorganized retailers, they are licensed, they are registered for income tax, sales tax, etc. So that includes all the hypermarkets, supermarkets or any other kind of market, so which have been registered. So here if you come across unorganized retail sector, so they are not licensed, neither they have registered for tax purpose, and they sell the goods wherever they'll get a place. So they are called as unorganized retailers. So now coming to the point that on account of liberalization, we should understand that growth, how it has been growing retail sector. I still remember this point. I wanted to point out this 2011, that is FDI policy. I believe everybody knows about FDI policy, that is foreign direct investment policy. So you should remember this, it is very important in retail sector. So 2011 onwards, we have seen very fast progress in the retail business. So why this and why I am highlighting on FDI policy, you might wonder. So that is foreign direct investment has been exactly, I can say, given a permission to invest in multi-brand and single branded retail sector in India. So that is what we are seeing, where many of the foreign companies retailing business have started establishing in India too. For that I can give an example, that is Walmart business have started. So that is one of the most important. So where the government have taken out a restriction, so that is up to 51% of FDI has been approved by the government. So now we have to understand, apart from that approval, so because of that 2011 changes in economic policy, that is especially FDI policy, so there is a progressive growth in the field of retail. So that growth we are going to discuss now. So what is that growth is all about? That is, we can say that is FDI comes under liberalization. So now what is this liberalization? Liberalization, it is very simple, that is minimization of rules and regulations. So for which is concerned with the foreign trade, that is what we call it as a liberalization. So now, on account of liberalization policy of the government of India, the retailing undergoing through change. The nature of retailing in this context is explained. So whatever we are explaining, that is purely about the changes due to liberalization or FDI policy of 2011, the growth or the changes whatsoever happened in the retail sector. So that is what we call it as we are going to understand in this particular video. So here you have to understand point number 1, which I have written, that is small to huge store. That is point number 1. small to huge store. So what is that small to huge store here? So that is small grocery store to huge departmental stores. See, we have seen, just go back 10 years, 1 decade back, how was the retail business in India? So we used to find very small shops. Every nook and corner of the road, we used to find a small shops. But today, are we seeing so much of small shops? Or we are seeing large malls coming up, supermarkets are coming up, hypermarkets are coming up. So the movement from a small shop to the huge stores that has been started, it is just because of FDI 2011 and liberalization policy of the government. And point number 2, we have to understand decline in small stores. When I'm saying point number 1, so that clearly gives you the answer for point number 2, decline in the small stores. So when we are moving small stores to small shops to large stores, automatically there is a decrease in the small stores. So the number of shops, whatever we are finding in and around, so that is becoming very small. That is, small sellers have become, their numbers has been reduced. So number 3, emergence of e-stores. So today we are living in an era of IT, that is information technology. So information technology has taken a longest leap. So because of technological development, everything on our fingertips. So now the globe has become a village. That is what we call. So global village now. So on this global village, everything we get on the tip of our finger. So that is emergence of e-stores. So that is virtual stores. So which does not physically exist, but it is exist in your phone, in your smartphone, on your computer, on your PC. So where you can buy whatever you want. So next point, number 4, we are going to discuss, that is a rise in discount stores. See, very simple. So the rise in discount stores are very simple. These are the stores which gives offers, which keep on giving discounts. So through that, their business is going to be more and more. So which the small stores or small business people cannot offer. So that is what here you can understand for the point number 2 answer. That is a decline in small store. Why it is happening? Because these large stores are giving high discounts. For example, if you go to some supermarket in a weekday, any one weekday, they'll give a bumper discount offer. Every week they are going to give. So in all the supermarkets they are doing. If festival comes, you will get a very good rate of discount. So which discount is not able to given by the small stores. So they are unable to face the competition. So due to that, the number of sellers, that is small stores, has been reduced. So that is point number 4, which increases, that is number of discount shop has been increased. So next is direct marketing. So direct mail and catalog marketing is happening. That includes telemarket, television, direct response marketing is also happening. So what is this direct marketing? See, every time when we look at the television, so we get to know about a lot of product through advertisements. So when we are getting know about the products through advertisements, or when an awareness about the product is created over a television, so that is what we call it as a direct marketing, which is happening. So that is also one of the accelerating factor which retailer is going. Mergers and acquisition. Retailer is happening. So mergers and acquisition is also the most important thing which we have to understand. What is this merger? Two equal businesses getting or becoming one business. As one business, we call it as a merging. At the same time, we have to understand what is this acquisition. See, earlier we had a thing that is, if somebody is weaker, so he has to close down his business. But now the era has been changed. If you are a weaker, you can go and collaborate with the strongest one, so that your business can establish again. So that is what we call it as an acquisition, where the strongest company is going to acquire the weakest company, or strongest retailers are going to acquire the weaker retailers. So where they'll become they are going to create their own particular brand, and they start doing a business.